Hello there, and thank you for joining our Creative Checkup today at God and Gigs. My name is Alan C. Paul. I'm your host, the creator of God and Gigs as a platform and a podcast and a blog and everything that we do here at God and Gigs. It's all here to help you build a better creative life from the inside out. This is our weekly, mostly weekly, not always weekly, but as much as possible weekly checkup to help you gain some encouragement, get some inspiration, cover some simple but really effective tips to help you live your best creative life from the inside out. And so I am so happy to be here. Those of you who are watching, even on replay, I always welcome you because maybe you couldn't join us live at 4 o'clock. And so I always want to make sure that I record this right off the top, thanking you for joining us and getting right into our discussion. And then those who are joining live, of course, you guys make sure you chat, make sure you share this. I have a little special surprise for you as we go through this date and as we go through this talk. So I really hope you will share this and tell your friends, our creative friends inside and outside the God and Gigs platform, that we're live today, that it's a nice, really kind of breezy, rainy, rainy, yeah, just a stormy day here, but it's still nice because it cools off here in South Florida, down here in Fort Lauderdale, where I reside. And so I hope you're having a great day, Friday as well. Coming near the end of October, who knew how fast this year would go by, as crazy as 2020 was. 2021 feels like it was a blur, like we're already knocking on the door of 2022. And those are just words that feel weird saying. But yeah, we are almost to 2022, around, I think, less than 90 days. Yeah, definitely less than 90 days away from the end of the year. So this is a time that we all start to get geared up for holidays, for Halloween, for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. All the things are happening right around our lives. If you are creative right now, I'm pretty sure you're feeling it, just that kind of internal pressure that it's time for things to start moving and get things together, whether again it's for holidays or for the new year or even planning for next year already, because it seems like if you haven't started on this yet, like you're going to get behind. You're already going to be behind because you're not working on this stuff in advance and taking advantage of the time. That's our topic for today, by the way. If you're watching me right now, I want to definitely get your opinion on this as we are talking about this. How to get your how to get control, should say, of your time like Jesus. Now, that little like Jesus thing is an allusion to something I'm going to be sharing today that's a very, very, very important topic, a very, very effective way of talking about our time that you maybe haven't thought of. And it kind of goes along with the surprise and the gift and the prize that I might be giving away throughout this discussion. So, first, if you're watching either replay or live, tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you manage your time? How well do you manage your time? Are you a 10? I know exactly when to deal with everything in my schedule. I've got it all down to a science, to when I get up, to when I go to bed, to what I get done now. Like even when you put this live stream on, Alan, I knew that it would fit between 4 and 4:30 so I can attend it. You got time management on lock. Or maybe you're more closer to the ones where it's like, my to-do list, what to-do list? Like number one, you maybe even don't have a list. And number two, even if you have a list, you have no idea how to get the things done on that list. And it feels like you're never, ever keeping up with anything. You're forgetting things. And I gotta say right away, everyone, I'm closer, way closer to the ones than the tens. If I was to put my number very transparently, probably be lower than a five. I would say a 4.5 in terms of my time management, even though I know I've gotten radically better over the last few weeks and months, actually, and years since I've started implementing some techniques. Why is this important to you? Because I know, just like me, you're a busy person. You're a busy creative. You're a busy person, whether you have a 9 to 5 or not, whether you're a full time artist or not. You've got a lot of things going on. And so if you have any sense that you are feeling stressed, feeling out of control, then time is a factor of why you feel that way, because you just don't seem to get to the things that matter, and the things that you want to get done and things that need more time seem to go down and down the back burner, and that creates stress and frustration on all of us. And like I said, I don't think anyone is here that is not feeling this at the same time. We're all feeling this pressure. So today's all about managing our time and getting control of our time like Jesus did. Now, What I'm using as a reference for today is what you see right behind me here. If you're watching on replay and watching live, what you're watching here, seeing here is this little stack of books here. So that stack of books is a book that literally just came out yesterday, and it is called Redeeming Your Time. Now, the author of the book is called, name is Jordan Rayner. Now, I've had him on the God and Gigs show before. He's written a book called Call to Create and Master of One. Both of those books are helping creatives, professionals, Christians like you and me to create this connection between what we do with excellence and being able to handle things and connect that to the gospel and connect that to how we are to be more Christ-like in our daily lives. It's really fascinating stuff, but it's not just fascinating because it's cool to read and to learn. It's really going to help you in your daily life. So I want to kind of address a couple of things. I'm not going to walk through the entire book. I want you to read the book. And if you want to read the book, by the way, all you got to do is go to this website here, jordanrainer.com, or really just go on Amazon anywhere and look up Redeeming Your Time to get this book. But I'm going to tell you a little bit how you can get a copy of this book yourself from me, because I've got these copies, these extra copies behind me. I can't read them all. So I've already given one away to someone that I promised that I would give him, because I want him to get this idea of time management. So I want to give you one too. But, we got to make an equal exchange here. And don't worry, there's no money involved. It's just I want to make sure that you are working on your time management. And I want to give you some strategies to do that right away. First, the one thing that I am gathering, not just from this book, but from in general in my life in trying to manage my schedule, manage my time, is to recognize my responsibilities, to recognize what's actually on my plate. As a matter of fact, I wrote a blog a long time ago, and it's also in my devotional, by the way. If you guys are interested in other stuff, Your Art, God's Heart, I have a devotional page that's written called What's on Your Plate. And in that particular blog post and in this particular discussion, I want you to think of all the things that are on your plate, to be able to recognize your responsibilities. How many responsibilities do you really have? And if you are honest with yourself, you got way more responsibilities than sometimes you even can pay attention to, and you don't seem to be able to keep up with them. I'm going to put that down in the chat here. Not the chat. What do you call this? The caption. Because I didn't even prepare these captions here, but I'd like you to see what we're talking about here. There we go. So, recognizing your responsibilities. Now, that's not in the book. The way that Jordan Rayner puts it, he talks about letting your yes be yes. So that's a biblical phrase that clearly goes to what Jesus wants us to do, what God wants us to do, is to actually follow through with our commitments. But here's the thing about commitments. You can't keep them if you don't know what they are. Okay? Am I making sense? How many of you that are watching right now are really aware and recognize all the responsibilities you have as a creative, as a mom, as a dad? I mean, do you really have a handle on all the things that you have to do? Or are they like what Jordan Rayner calls open loops? Are they open loops that are running off in your mind? If they're open loops running off in your mind, and the book talks about this open loop thing, they never settle. You feel like there's something bugging you and you're just not sure what it is. And you're like, I've got to figure this out. I got to do things. I got to do more things. But you don't recognize what they are because they're spinning around your head. And if you don't get them down in a central place, you'll never actually follow through with them. Another book I love to reference is called Atomic Habits. And Atomic Habits has a phrase where it talks about habits that you are forming. And it says you cannot improve a habit that has not already been established. So if you haven't established a habit, if you haven't established what you have to do, where you have to do it, when you have to do it, and you just have this list of things in your mind that are spinning around, and I just got to do a bunch of stuff, and I know I'm busy, but I don't know why I'm busy, or really just detailing what those commitments are, you're going to feel yourself constantly anxious and frustrated. Now, this for creatives, we are extremely guilty of this, because it constantly comes down to what we're not aware of that comes back to bite us. Something that we didn't write down in the contract, a part of a song that we didn't write down and we forgot it. And oh no, I want to remember that part of the song and I didn't, get it down before. I forgot that part, and now I have to go back and review it or find a notepad or something because I feel like I lost that thought. Our attempts to organize sometimes are fleeting because we don't think this way. We don't think of putting the whole pot, putting everything in the pot and making sure that we don't lose any pieces. And a lot of us as creators, we're free spirits. And I get it. You probably don't like, maybe even as you're talking to me right now, you're like, are you talking about doing more to-do lists? That just can't be the thing. I don't want to do that. Well, let me explain one more time why this is important to you. It is not because I'm trying to turn you into this robotic, scheduled person that knows exactly everything that goes on in everyone's life and you have perfect control. No, I'm not trying to take away your creative freedom. I'm trying to give you more of it by freeing you up by having things that are already connected in your to-do list, in your what Jordan Rayner calls a commitment tracking system. If you already have that listed and down, it frees your mind because you already know it's done. There's a great section in the book that talks about that. And again, as you can tell, I've had a chance to read the book, and it is absolutely freeing up my time and my mental space because everything is down on a list. I use an app called Todoist, and since I've read the book, I've started like every single time something pops in my mind, I say, "Hey, Todoist, remind me to do X," and I just write it. It writes it down. It does it, and it's done. And it frees my mind because I know I dealt with it. Now, maybe I didn't do it right away, but I'm still taking care of it. I have put it in a place where I know I will get back to it and it will not bug me. And I've recognized that responsibility. I haven't left it up to chance. I'm going to remember it. And it frees up my creative life because now, if I know I need to deal with something creative, do something well, do something that I really focus on, there isn't something in the back of my mind that's kind of trying to distract me and pull me away from it. I've already dealt with that distraction. I've eliminated that distraction of that thing because I've put it somewhere where I can come back to it. So creative, don't let the idea of becoming this rigid, organized person keep you from becoming free by recognizing all your responsibilities, being honest about yourself. Say, hey, I've got a lot on my plate. Maybe as you recognize your responsibilities, you'll take some things off your plate and you won't deal with them because maybe you need to say no to some things. That's another chapter in the book that talks about how to say no to the right things like Jesus did. Speaking of like Jesus did, and like I said, this book is really all about the way Jesus lived his life and how he managed his time. And Jesus said no to things all the time. I think of a famous chapter where the woman comes to him and asks him to heal her daughter. And basically Jesus is like, no, I'm sorry. And he basically almost makes this what sounds like an insulting allusion to it's not fitting for me to take the children's meat and give it to the dogs. Seems like a really harsh thing to say, but Jesus was basically saying, I'm super focused here. Unless your priorities are lining up with my priorities at this point, I have to say no, even to a miracle. But of course, you might also know that Jesus was also oftentimes willing to do things that were way out of his particular focus at the time. And it feels like he just turned around and he said, you know what? I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to say yes. So in the book, it talks about that, how Jesus was sacrificial with his time and that we can't be one of these people as creatives that say, oh, only the things that matter to me matter. I'm not going to pay attention to you. I'm going to cut you off. I'm going to never answer my phone because this is more important. And what I do is most important to me. And I'm never going to be sacrificial. I'm never going to give up any of my time for anyone else other than my goals. That's not a Christian way to do this. And I love the fact that Jordan Rayner talks about this, about Jesus both had priorities, but he also had compassion. And so I love that idea that you can be compassionate with your time, but you can also be quick to say, this is important, this is above the line, this has to get done, or this does not. So if this is helping you at all, just let me know in the chat that you say, hey, yeah, that applies to me. I like that. I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that, because that helps me know that this is going to help you. Now, we've talked a little bit about recognizing your responsibilities, and I've talked a little bit about saying no and saying yes to the right things. The last thing I want to kind of bring up when it comes to managing your time like Jesus did is something about rest. Now, here's what's funny about rest as creatives. We are so addicted to hustle. We are so addicted to the hustle. If you're like me and you're watching right now, go ahead and put, are you a like all hustle mentality person? Are you like, I got to get it moving. I got to get it done. No time to waste. No time to sleep. Sleep is for dummies. I don't know. Or maybe you're like that. Maybe you think that sleep is kind of, I was like that. Sleep was kind of like the enemy. I hated the idea of like, oh, once I went to sleep, I felt like it was like almost a defeat. Okay, anybody else feel that way? If you feel that way, let me know in the chat. Or let me know as you're watching the replay. So I felt defeated whenever that happened. I felt like, sleep was like the enemy that I've given up, that tiredness. And, maybe that's not you, but that was me. Now, the problem with that is that that does not model what Jesus did. Jesus clearly valued time alone. He valued rest. He even says to his disciples one time, "Come apart so we may rest a while." He was very clear that we needed to eat something. As a matter of fact, a couple of times when the disciples, you know, were like dealing with something, and Jesus is like, "You got anything to eat? We got to eat. We got to take care of ourselves. We have to rest." And that's something I think in Christian and creative life, we oftentimes don't prioritize, but Jesus clearly did. And again, in the book, Jordan Rayner talks about embracing productive rest. So I really want to encourage you that you got to embrace rest if you want to be a fully active, committed, and fulfilled creative, being able to pursue God's glory and your individual goals without getting burned out. You got to embrace rest. But hey, I'm the first one to tell you I have trouble with that. I have trouble with sleeping. I'm trying to get more sleep. Gig life keeps you up late at night. So my advice to you is simply to start looking at your schedule and saying, what is getting in the way of my rest? And what am I doing that's keeping me from resting that will give me more productive work when I'm awake, when I am moving, when I am doing what I'm supposed to do? If I was resting more, I'd be doing more. But the thing is, here's the funny thing about this. If you don't have it, what was the phrase? I forgot how I said it. It takes this to make this. You know how they say it takes money to make money? Well, it takes rest in order to make, I guess if you say rest, right? Or you can't, you have to start taking it, right? You takes that, you have to start resting if you want to see the benefits of rest. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't just like snap your fingers and think that all of a sudden it's going to happen. You have to make it a priority. Okay, if I want to feel more rested, I have to take rest into my own hands, which means, yes, sometimes you'll have to say no to that gig. Yes, sometimes you'll have to say, no, I'm not going to answer my phone. I'm going to do what Jordan Rayner talks about, Sabbathing. I'm going to take the Sabbath, the actual Sabbath, or the seventh day, or the Sunday, and I'm going to rest, and I'm going to stop all my labor. I'm going to really focus on productive rest. Or maybe 8 hours of sleep is going to be your productive way of resting, and you're going to make that a priority. Me personally, mine is sleep. So if you guys are chatting with me, let me know, what's your way of resting. Let me actually check this in here. How have you prioritized rest? Hope I spelled that right. Okay. So if you are someone that, like me, really struggles with this one, and that's why I am highly recommending this book. I'm going to also put a link up in my notes, and also you can go to God and Gigs. And we just interviewed, by the way. Oh my gosh, how did I not talk about that? We interviewed Jordan Rayner and talking about his book in God and Gigs episode, which just came out as I'm recording, episode 136. So I'm going to put that link in there too, godandgigs.com/136. So you can go check that out. The God and Gigs show. We talk all about these things. So I'm kind of like adding a little bit of my 2 cents into this. So some of these are my phrases and my ways of dealing with the rest, and they all kind of combine with Jordan Rayner's as well, because I feel like we're in the same boat when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm promoting and telling you about this book because I believe in it, but I also was talking about this all the way back in, I think, episode 32. How to stop managing your time and start maximizing your time. So I've been talking about this for a while. That's way back in 2019. So we've been talking about time management here at God and Gigs for a while. So this fits perfectly in line with our attempt to make you a better creator from the inside out by helping you to apply these timeless spiritual principles. They fit perfectly with what God and Gigs is already doing. So this book will give you so many more, 31 more practices on how to manage your time like Jesus did. So back to rest. If you want to embrace productive rest, you got to take it. You got to take and make rest a priority, or else you will find yourself on that hamster wheel feeling like you're not quite making it. Oh yeah, and I was about to talk about naps. I kind of got off there with a little ADD there. So nap time for me, it was absolutely a priority. Now I have fallen off a little bit, but here's the thing I love about naps. I got this from a book called When, The Science of Perfect Timing. And he talks about the nappuccino. You got to like do this, okay? So a lot of people think, oh, coffee keeps you awake. And yes, it does. But what I've used as my nap study and my nap routine is I drink a cup of coffee, maybe just like not a whole cup, and then lay down for about 18, 20 minutes. I have the same music that plays when I lay down. I know exactly what the rhythm is, and I know about what time I'll fall asleep. And about 18 minutes later, that caffeine that I drank hits your system or hits my system. So my alarm doesn't really have to go off, although I do have my music kind of cuts off, and then it's like I feel refreshed because I've heard, and I think this is true from sleep studies and doctors, that if you hit REM sleep, your body has trouble waking up. But if you stay in that mid REM, not all the way down, but just a restful part of your sleep, 18 minutes or 20 minutes, 15 maybe for you. So you might be saying right now, okay, I don't have time to take naps during the day. No, maybe you don't. Maybe not during the day. Maybe you can't sleep on the job, clearly. But there's got to be a way that you start to build in these routines where rest is a part of your day. Jordan Rayner talks about taking breaks during the day, even to do a walk or to step away from the computer. He called it by, I got to think of the right word. I have to read it again to make sure I get it right. But it's I can't think of the right word. It's not annual. There's another way of saying buy, but it's 2 per day or 2 per session. You got to figure out this method and this routine of taking rest so that you are never feeling like you are so tired that you can't be productive. You can't be productive if you're not resting. And I know, again, I'm speaking, preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to myself because I know even the last few days have been a doozy for me. But here's the thing. I know it was a doozy, and I know I lost track of the rest. And I know that I don't feel the best because I haven't. So guess what I have to do? Reprioritize. Go back and say rest has to be part of my day. So I said a little bit earlier that I was going to provide a little, treat or a little prize. And here's what it is. Since you've watched all the way to the end, if you are watching either on replay or live, if you were listening and following along with this, I want you to put in your biggest takeaway. Like, what are you going to do to manage your time better? Okay, that's the first thing. Number two, I want you to share this creative checkup with somebody. If you do those two things, okay, comment on how are you going to manage your time better. So comment in this post. Two, share this post with someone who needs this kind of time management help, who wants some encouragement as a Christian creative and wants to like get their time management together. Then make sure that you do those two things and screenshot it. Okay. So make sure you screenshot. Well, actually, you know what? I can see the shares. So I trust you on the shares. So if you do those two things and you're following God in Gigs, you got to be following God in Gigs so I can DM you. If you do those three things, okay, follow God in Gigs, make sure that you comment on this post, tell me what you think about time management, how are you going to apply one of these techniques, and share it, okay? I will pick somebody from those people who do all three of those things, and I will gift you your own copy of Redeeming the Time. Got to put it upside down, okay? That's how you can get a free copy of this book, okay? I will definitely reach out. Definitely, you can get your mailing address, but you got to do those three things, okay? Comment on this video. Tell me what you think time management, how these could apply to you, whether you've struggled with time management. Don't give me like a one sentence thing. Give me some meat. Give me something I can think about, something that you could think about on how you're going to apply some of these time management strategies like Jesus did. How you even think about that, what you think about Jesus, the way that he applied his time, and can you apply that to your own life? So leave a comment of more than just one sentence. Give me a little bit of information about how you're going to apply this. Share this post with somebody and make sure you're following God and Gigs directly here on YouTube and or Facebook. Okay, those three things. I will go through it in about, I'd say 2 or 3 days, give people a chance to read this or see it. And then I will pick one of those random people who do that to get the book, to win the book, a physical copy. I will mail it to you. No postage, nothing at all. I pay for it, free for you to get a copy of Redeeming the Time. Okay, but you got to do those three things. Got to be following, got to have a share, and you got to have a comment. Okay. I am so grateful for you for watching this. I think that this is going to make a huge impact in your daily life. It has in mine. I've already, like I said, been applying some of these techniques, and I found way more freedom, way more time on my hands to do what I'm supposed to do, less stress, less worry. And again, it's because we're applying Jesus's time management principles to our own creative lives. Redeeming your time is just another way of looking at that, but it's probably the most effective I've ever seen. And I definitely recommend this book. I'm not just saying that because there's no affiliate link for me in terms of this. I mean, the Amazon links are usually affiliate, so I will tell you that if you buy it from Amazon and my link, but I didn't even post that this time actually. So there is simply no reason why you shouldn't take advantage of this resource. I really, really believe it's going to make a huge impact in your life to think this way, to start applying these time management principles to your life. And again, go ahead and enter. Oh, I forgot to say, you can also, by the way, Jordan's giving away, because you guys are watching this now, I think another 2 more days. If you're watching this before October 23rd or 24th, Jordan Rayner's giving away a trip to Israel for somebody who buys the book online. So if you go to Jordan Rayner or Amazon or whatever, follow his steps there, and you can win a trip to Israel in the next 3 days. Next 3 days. Yeah, you got to order in the next 3 days, but you have 3 years if you win to go on a trip, just in case you don't feel like traveling right now because of the pandemic situation. He's giving you 3 years if you win the trip to go ahead and take that trip. So an incredible sweepstakes. So if you're watching this before the 23rd or the 24th, you have an even more incentive to go ahead and order the book. But if you want to win the book, go ahead and do those 3 things. And like I said, you can always order one for a friend, and then I could also, obviously, you win, then you got an extra one you can share with someone. All right. So that's our creative checkup for today. Thank you so much for joining me, for watching. I really, again, encourage you, go check out jordanrainer.com. And let me just put one more link real quick if I can hurry up and get it together, because I'm not ready, but I should be ready. Here is a link for you if you want to get the book. Let's see. Wait, of course I wasn't ready. Give me like 5 more seconds to get it up, because as I mentioned, I am perfectly okay with you guys using your own ways to get there, but I want to give you a link to get this book in case you want to. Why won't it come up? You guys are like, what is he doing? Typing and trying to do this 3 things at once. All right. So there's a link for you if you would like to get that. Oh, there we go. Let's see. I have a chat here. Let's show it. See. Oh, awesome. I appreciate that. Over 40s health. My pleasure. I am so glad that you found some value in this. I mean, even talking about these methods and talking about these strategies, I mean, it seriously like sinks in even more. And as I told you, I've already applied the commitment tracking system. I've already committed to more rest. Letting your yes be yes is another chapter in the book. So many things in this book are really, really highly, highly, highly effective for us. So I'm glad you found some value in that. That's awesome. And yeah, definitely check out the links right there as I just put on there. This is the link for the podcast that we just did with Jordan Rayner. So go check that out. You can hear him say it for himself, explain all these topics, all of these time management strategies, 31 of them based on 7 biblical principles. And again, I'm kind of just piggybacking off what I learned from Jordan and what we've already been talking about. As I mentioned, we talked about this back in a previous podcast, which I will link to right now. I think it was 32. Was it 32? Yes, it was 32. Yeah. So in case you want to check out an older, way before this, like way back, like 2 years ago, you can kind of see and put these practices into place. The new book with Jordan Rayner, our discussions on time management, like it's all there for you. So you can live a better creative life and really manage your time, get control of your time, just like Jesus did. So I appreciate you watching. We're right at 4:30. We're right on time. Appreciate you guys enjoying and learning with us at God and Gigs. Please make sure you check out everything at godandgigs.com, including our membership, God and Gigs 360, which is a membership for highly motivated creatives like you who want to become completely competent all the way around, spiritually, mentally, physically, relationally, creatively. You want to have complete confidence in all those areas. God and Gigs 360 is the way to go. You can check that out at godandgigs.com/free trial, which of course, once again, I need to type in case you want to check that out. And I got to remember to type things. So go check that out. If you want to check out our membership, godandgigs.com/free trial. Okay. Thank you for watching. Even if you're watching again on the replay and you haven't had a chance to enter that contest, go check that out. Okay. You got till October 24th to enter that contest, to go get that book from Jordan Rayner, and make sure to go to jordanrayner.com if you want to enter that contest to win. And remember that if you want to win my book, my copy of my book, you're one of these 3 copies. I got 3 copies. I got 4 copies left. One of them's mine. So if you want to check this out, make sure to share, comment, and follow. Share, comment, follow, those three things. And then I will pick out somebody who will win this copy, and I'll DM you for information on how to get it to you. Okay? God bless you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you guys being a part of our God and Gigs community. Till next time, continue to become the creative you were created to be. God bless and take care.